What do you want to be when you're older?
A stay-at-home mum.
Do you go to school?
No.
Do you go to college?
No.
What do you do?
Nothing.
What's the plan?
I want to read out some stats to you now. These are actual statistics about the number of kids from different backgrounds that get 5 or more GCSEs. We're going to start from the top, we're going to go down to the bottom. This is true, and it's astonishing. Listen, 75% of Chinese kids get 5 or more GCSEs. 50% of Bangladeshi kids get 5 or more. Indian kids, the same, half, 50%. Black Africans, 43%. Pakistani kids, 37%. Black Caribbean, 23%. At the very, very bottom, the worst performing demographic of all in our own country, white British kids on free school meals, 18%. 18%, and nobody gives a damn about them.
What do you want to be when you're older?
A stay-at-home mum.
Do you go to school?
No.
Do you go to college?
No.
What do you do?
Nothing.
What's the plan? What are you trying to do in the future and that?
I want to resit my GCSEs and study law.
What do you want to be when you're older?
A stay-at-home mum. Or like a now person.
Do you need school to be a now tech?
No.
So you don't really necessarily care about if you get any qualifications or not?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
And I don't even go in.
Well, you don't go to school like that? Really? So what do you do when you're not in school?
In bed or I just go out.
Now, what would you like to be like when you're older?
I'm not too sure.
Education goes like this. Racism goes like this. You see that? Why do you think in the US you got all this racist shit going on right now? You got all this MAGA stuff. In the UK we got reform. They are going to, eventually they will win. Because they're getting dumber and dumber. Easier and easier to run propaganda, to manipulate, to weaponize their unintelligence and push that towards everyone who doesn't look like them.
Every year since I've been on the internet, roughly around this time of year, so GCSE season, going into sort of exam result season, there's a report that tells us that white working class kids are doing the worst in terms of the attainment levels. And then when you zoom into that, it's white working class boys that are doing even worse. Now, that information is not new to me. I studied sociology in school, so we actually looked at, well, in college I studied it. We looked at attainment levels, deprivation, childhood, poverty, and we looked at how all those things impact education. So it's not new to me. But equally, this is not new to anyone in the UK because it gets reported on every single year.
Yep.
And I'm going to try and make this quick because there's so many things you can say. But 2 points I want to make. One, now it has been framed as if DE&I has gone too far. Like, look, oh my God, our indigenous population is failing because we focus so much on DE&I and, you know, giving people things not based on merit and rah, rah, rah. All the other, like, right-wing pipeline bullshit, yeah? But then when you just think...
Ain't it weird that even with their own individual failures, they can manage to flip it on other people?
About it a little bit deeply, particularly if you've been in the British education system, there is no D&I policies in GCSEs when you do your exams. We're all in that exam all together. We're all revising together. We all spend year 9 to year 11 picking our GCSE, studying, going to class. There's actually no D&I, so they're talking shit. Another thing to notice is when you look at attainment data, which I have previously because I studied it and, you know, again, it's reported on every single year. When you look at it, it's only white working class groups that have working class in their label, because when you compare them to every other immigrant groups, whether it's British Indians, British Africans, British Caribbeans, whatever, their socio-economic position is never referred to. For the most part, most immigrant groups are working class. I think it's probably, well, last time I looked at the data, the only groups that skew more middle class are British Indians and I think British Chinese. But the framing of that is very interesting and it's something you should pay attention to because it will make you think, without like properly engaging, that the white working class, so, you know, poor or poorer than everybody else and they're being left alone, they're being left to the dogs and being failed, etc., etc. Another thing you can observe, particularly, again, if you've been in the British education system, as I have been, as a black working class woman, one thing that is just so glaringly obvious and why this data is reported on every year and why it just doesn't get any better is because there is such a difference between how these groups prioritize education. Now, this is not a stain on white working class parents and families, but culturally, we have some differences. When you emigrate to a country and you are working class and you kind of start from the bottom and you don't have a lot, etc., particularly if you come from the global south, there is such an emphasis and priority on education to move you through this socio-economic ladder, right? You got no choice but to go to school, face your books, do your exams, go to uni. If you don't go to uni, either shame on your head or you better be doing something that makes you some money. Our parents beat education into us, as in the little money they had, the little money my mum had, she put me in Saturday school. Like, I was revising on the weekends for years. So often, it is parental influence, parental care, parental engagement in your education that really plays such a difference. So it's just really funny, particularly how, you know, Reform and all those other groups are trying to frame it how we, collectively, the government, society, has failed white working class kids, white working class boys, and look at all these immigrant groups are doing so much better than us. But they have been for the last 20 years. And it's got nothing to do with DE&I and got everything to do with the way we view education as different groups. And equally, the way poverty and your class position plays a part in your attainment levels.
This is something that we obviously already know and we've been knowing it. It's a reason why for them it's separated, right? White working class, because the white upper class, I guarantee they do great. Just like the African upper class do great. The Indian upper class do great. The Asian upper class do great. Caribbean upper class do great. We know majority of issues in society are class issues, but there's a demographic of people who have historically made it about race. But when it happens to them, it's not about race. Now we acknowledge that it's a class issue. Hypocrisy at its finest.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone. I just can't let this go. This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone.